I've been analysing fiscal budgets for the past 30 years, and this was probably the most uneventful budget that I've ever analysed or listened to. There are a couple of things that are very important, I think, but it's the things that haven't been said that are probably more important. Clearly, what we have a Minister of Finance that is leaning to the right in terms of ideology. We can even call him a new liberalist kind of Minister of Finance, and that totally differs or is different from the current leadership in the ANC. And I have a suspicion that there is some sort of ideological clash coming within the leadership of the ANC, which will probably result in the Minister of Finance not reading the budget next year. Analysing some of the specifics in the budget. As far as taxes are concerned, very little adjustments were announced. The normal taxes like sin taxes and the fuel levy were increased, but the personal income tax brackets were not adjusted sufficiently to address the effect of inflation. What it effectively comes down to is that personal income taxes increased, and that also means that the Minister of Finance is becoming more and more dependent for his revenue from a relatively small number of individuals. On the expenditure side, nothing really happened. The normal increases were announced, but the one thing that stood out for me was the relatively small amount of money that was transferred to Eskom, only 23 billion rand over the next 3 years. Now that is simply not sufficient to keep Eskom alive financially, and I have a suspicion there could be more behind this specific story, and we probably have to wait until after the elections before we get the actual story behind the story. And then finally, looking at the broad numbers, looking at things like, for example, economic growth, his expectations as far as revenue are concerned, the fiscal deficit, the state debt levels and the like, I think the Minister of Finance are far too optimistic when you look at these sort of numbers. I think the state's finances are probably much worse or going to deteriorate much more than what the Minister of Finance is expecting at this stage. It's been far too optimistic, and that probably means that we can expect another downgrade.